So, I've started a PhD. In this video, I just want to share some of my experiences, some insights, and maybe some tips as a first-year, part-time PhD student. So before I get into specifics, why did I start a PhD? There are multiple reasons, mostly personal ones, but I must say it was a long-term academic goal for me. I've always liked studying, I've always loved learning, and this is something I can sink my teeth into. But the reason I started is because I've worked in a research center for many years, and it makes sense that I pursue this academic journey. I have made my bed in academia, and I intend to sleep in it. When I graduated from my bachelor's, I thought I'd work in industry, but ever since I've started my job in this research center, I just didn't have the desire to leave. I love working there, I love the projects that I've been involved in, I love some of the people, and I love learning, and I love taking on challenges and new things, the variety, and the skills that I get to learn. And so only recently, last year in September, I decided to register as a student. I am now a couple of months into this as a PhD student, and there is a distinction between a PhD student and a PhD candidate. A PhD candidate is one who has completed all of the modules, the prerequisite learning, and someone who has completed their full proposal, which I am in the middle of putting together. In one way, it's a terrible time to take it on because I'm working a full-time job, I have small kids, and we're also thinking of building our house. But a part of me just wanted to take on this challenge. One of the reasons as well is that I could be distracted by doing this, which is a strange thing to say because this is a full-time endeavor. It will require many hours in my week to commit to, but at the same time, that's exactly what a perfect distraction would do. Because if I didn't have this, I would be consumed and be stressed and be anxious with the management of the building of our home. And as I've said at the beginning, this is a part-time endeavor, which means I won't have all the hours in the week to dedicate my time learning, studying and writing and reading all the time. This is on top of my day job. And one of the reasons as well, which helped me make my decision, is that the college, the university, is sponsoring my study. And so from a financial consideration, this would have been a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, which I'm extremely grateful for. I am thankful for the privilege that I get to have this mental exercise at the expense of the college instead of my own. Well, here we are, a couple of months in, and I still love it. I must say that I've developed this passion for deep research, for deep learning and exploring and reading wide and deep. My supervisors have advised me to commit at least 15 to 20 hours per week on this. They would prefer if I did more, but I'm discovering that that is just not feasible, especially when there's only so many hours in the week to dedicate time to my research. And so part of what I have to do is to structure my time and manage it really well, to run a tight ship, to make sure that I make the most of every opportunity when I get to study and read and write. And so that has been one of the major adjustments that I've had to make. And obviously my wife and my family have been on board with this, supporting me fully, and I'm grateful for the time that they give me to do this. This is after all for them. I'm going to pursue an academic career. I would love to be part of the department in the university as a full-time lecturer in the future, but I understand that it's going to take a substantially longer time than as if I was full-time doing this. I really had to put together a good working plan to convince my supervisors that I will manage my time well so that I will accomplish what I said that I would do in the proposal. I'm also realizing the importance of consistent effort, and the challenge that comes with that is definitely this work, life, and study balance. Now I want to talk about the good stuff. and maybe the not so good stuff, and everything else in between. I want to highlight some of the positive things, and some of those are the pure excitement of starting a new research, learning new skills and new methodologies, exploration, engaging with academic literature. I know this is not for everybody, but I do love reading to acquire more knowledge, reading to discover new things, and just to read about all the exciting, innovative research that are going on in the field. I also really love the relationship I have with my supervisors. I think they're very good in guiding me, extremely helpful in pointing me in the right direction. I also really like the topic that I've chosen, which I will talk about in a minute. Now, it isn't all rosy in the garden. I also want to point out some of the challenges that I'm currently experiencing. Maybe it can help you if you're a PhD student, if you're undergoing long-term study. Maybe you might benefit in some of the things I will share. I do feel overwhelmed sometimes. Dealing with imposter syndrome is a very real thing. I can certainly attest to that. The feeling of isolation, not so much yet. I'm only a couple of months in my first year, and so I haven't really had that lonely period. I have heard about that, this feeling of isolation, this feeling of loneliness, because it is a journey, your individual journey, and so you might feel that you're taking this journey on your own. But so far I've had great friends, good colleagues that are also in the same journey, and so we're able to share with one another how we're doing, and so there's a camaraderie there, especially in a research center where you're close and can relate and empathize with each other. Not to mention all of the technical difficulties you'll encounter, and just difficulties in general, because this is a new research field, a completely new topic for me, and so I love the challenge, but I can't deny that there are difficulties, expected roadblocks, especially in research. There is a significant learning curve as well, especially in academic writing. And I've had to understand research culture as well and expectations. And so some of the things I just want to share is that doing a PhD is probably better suited while you're still doing your undergrad, to decide there and then that you will pursue this long journey, this career path, and so you could string them along and still have that time. Whereas for me, I've had about 10 years of working. I've been married since then. I've had children, established a family, and so it's definitely difficult to do this in the midst of all that. So one piece of advice I give is that if you're in your 20-something and you really want to do and pursue a PhD, do it now. Don't wait too long. Since starting this journey as well, it made me even more organized and systematic in my usage of my time. I've already been using some of the productivity tools and apps that have helped me organize my work, and so it really helps me now in organizing and planning for my studies as well. I have taken a project management course, which I've completed, which really has helped me in seeing this big goal and helped me break it down into smaller chunks that I can realistically tackle. It's really important that you specify a time period where you concentrate and focus on your PhD work and not be bothered by other tasks, other commitments. And it's very important then to prioritize your commitments and to say no to things that can be said no to. I'm also learning the importance of taking breaks and making sure I watch closely my burnout level or my burnout capacity. Burnout is a very real thing. I think I've experienced that from time to time, where I know I've just taken on too many things. It causes me stress and anxiety, and it affects my sleep. And so I find myself integrating some of the PhD related tasks with my existing work, which has been so beneficial to me. Some of the projects I take on now are closely related to my study, my field of research, as it were, and finding that synergy was just hitting two birds with one stone. I'm also strengthening myself in the discipline and maintaining high motivation to improve my communication, especially with my supervisors, I need to be able to communicate to them what I'm able to do for a time or not so able to do, and so that we manage each other's expectations. I wouldn't want to waste their time, and I want them as well to respect mine as I try and find this balance. So it's a bit of a dance. Since then, I've joined various network groups where other PhD students are embarking on this journey. I think it's very good to have this support network, and so you could hear of each other's experiences, their stresses, and help one another out. But because this is such a time-sensitive thing, there's no way getting around managing your time well. You have to be organized and you have to be proactive. The name of the game is initiative. You just gotta identify stuff and do it well. Now, as I've said, I'll only be first year into this in September this year, so it hasn't been crunch time for me, as people say. But I can see the mountain and I'm looking at it, and this is going to be a trek, but I know I'm going to enjoy it. I've completed 2 modules so far, which have been helpful for me in developing my proposal, in setting my pathway, and I'm sure there'll be many more videos relating to this topic. And so I document my journey and express how I will feel in the future. Maybe I'll get over this honeymoon phase and then experience the dark times, as it were. And so if you're watching this, I'd like for you to ask questions. Maybe I can answer them, maybe I will encounter them, and maybe some advice that I can use as I'm on this journey. And now I'm working on my full proposal, right from the literature review, my research gaps, my chosen methodology, and how I'm going to execute all of this in my work plan. And so on to my topic. What is my topic? What is my PhD research on? My research topic is on phenomenology, a phenomenological exploration of mixed reality digital twins. Okay, in the title alone, there's so much to unpack, but essentially, it's understanding through the first-person perspective how one experiences digital twins in a mixed reality modality. It's going to be fleshed out so much more, but I know that I want to delve into this deeply because I believe there's a significant research gap in the topic. It is emerging technologies, emerging research, and so I'm in a position to probe deeper into what that means. I'm an engineer, and so I develop mixed reality applications, but without fully understanding how the user experiences them firsthand using phenomenological approach, and particularly post-phenomenology, which is a branch of a philosophy of technology. That's going to be exciting. I love what I'm reading so far with the father of post-phenomenology, Don Idy, but I'm keen to unpack what it means to study and explore this from a more qualitative approach. I've been so used to studying quantitatively, looking at numbers and empirical data, historical, discretized data. I'm envisioning a deep dive into people's first-hand accounts, which will be purely qualitative. I'm going to have to listen a lot, but I'm excited for this. And if you'd like to follow more, I do have a blog website, a blog post. I'll link it into this description of this video. I hope none of you will steal my idea, and I'm going to advance this area even just for a little bit, maybe a millimeter or two. I want to contribute to it, and I believe it might have some impact in the future development of mixed reality applications. And how about merging that with digital twins, where you have your physical asset, your virtual counterpart, and that live, real-time, bidirectional communication? There is so much. And I believe post-phenomenology is just perfect for exploring these. So stay in tune for that. I will be documenting my process. But I would say this: enjoy the journey. Find motivation to wake up in the morning to read, and read some more. There will be hundreds and hundreds of papers that you will trawl through. And full disclosure, I am using AI not to do my work. I hate that, and I think it dehumanizes the whole journey. But I use AI as a tool to help me, and part of that is collecting papers, for example, speed scanning for me what are relevant. So I'm using it more as an advanced search engine, if you like, and also use it to fix some of my grammar if it needs to refine some of my expression. Now, AI can't help me anyway in coming up with the results, because I'm going to be the one who's going to conduct the experiments, extract the results, interpret the data, and discuss it. And so in this day and age, I feel like I have such a wealth of tools and support that I can use to help me with my PhD. Don't neglect your family. Don't neglect time with friends. Don't neglect your own time. Play that video game. Pursue some of your hobbies. Make sure that you are taking sufficient breaks. Have enough variety in your life so that it becomes a pleasant experience. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I love the challenge. I feel like I've learned so much, and I know I'm gonna learn some more. And maybe this will be a video in itself, but this idea of work-life balance, I'd like to maybe have my thoughts on that and challenge that, because it isn't so much a balance as it is an integration. But I do understand that maybe there is a time and place to separate the two so that you don't bring that in bed with you, and so it consumes your mind, it affects your emotions and feelings. But at the same time, I'd consider this as one and the same. A PhD, after all, is your own personal journey, your own self-imposed Herculean tasks, if you like. Pace yourself. Make sure that you are taking your time. What I've found helpful so far in my focus is to set a time, a short burst of focus. Make sure that you're well hydrated, well rested, before you tackle any kind of deep learning, because if your mind isn't ready, if you're not in the right mental framework, many of the things that you think that's coming into your brain will leak out just as quickly. And so let's see how this goes. I'm excited to continue on, and after this month, I will have my full proposal, I hope. I will try and keep up to date with how I'm doing and maybe share some of the experiences, more tips perhaps, and advices that I can give as I'm experiencing it myself. Thank you for watching, and please do like and subscribe if you like what I'm talking. My name is Andrew. This is Mindset and Methods, and I'll see you in the next one.